All right, hello everyone. So today is Full Moon Monday. So let's see what we've got. Let's start off with gold as usual. Now this is gold. It's on the weekly. This zone we talked about. This 2017 I talked about. Mars I talked about. Everything's here. Okay, so that's done here. Now we've got an interesting situation here with the full moon. We are above the weekly PST right here. That's 59.86. The highest it did was 60.61. Okay, and it's currently at 60. So this has probably got some more room to go out, but maybe it'll retrace before going up. So the weekly support is going to be here, 56, which is 1986. So if it gets to 1986 at an astro hour, we're definitely going to be in there. So let's put something on 1986, which is around here. All right, so 1986, let's say right on that line there. Okay, 1986. So if we dip down into that 1986 zone, we want to be going long. That's the weekly one. On the daily, the market's already done the daily, which is there, which is 64. And that's 2001. And the 2001 level, as you can see, was pretty much done here in the opening. All right, 2001, market opens up, bang. I've already put the Astrals in the members area about 2 hours ago, and these are already for gold here. So what we want to do with gold, if we dip back down into the daily, weekly, into the 1986 zone here, we'd like to go up again. Okay, on the monthly, as you can see, got a higher high happening. So we do feel like we want to go up. So we've got to be careful to come back for that retracement. Also here, we've got this, the goodbye kiss at 66, which is 2006. It's a bit too up there for my comfort, which is there, right? 2006. That's there, right? 2005, 96, 2006 there. So it's a little too up there, too close there for my comfort. But if we do come back down, it's worthwhile going up. Now, if we go up first, okay, then this 11:30, 11:15 actually, 11:15 is what you're going to have to look out for. Okay, and that's that bar here. Vertical line properties, 11:15. Actually, you can make that 11:20. It's still going to be on that bar, no big deal. But if you go down to a smaller time frame, you could definitely do that. So this is going to be important for us. From here, we should bounce off into a location. Also, the market should head off into an adjustment place until there, which is 8:45 on the platform, but it's going to be 9:45 UTC plus 3 my time. Okay, so that's it. So if we go up and then slide down, going up is okay. I do see some Action Jackson moves today, but that's going to be in the New York session. That's going to be in the New York session. Okay, so that's that. So on gold, okay, we've got room to go up, as you can see. Once it breaks above this clearly, okay, this is still like going to be good push up. So I think we could see gold really going, higher. Now that means gold, if it starts breaking higher, it'll start going up. So these gaps here, right, this gap here, as you can see, this is going to be filled back much later, and that could be like much later. Like here, you see how there was a big gap here. See how long it took the market to come back all the way down there. Okay, this is October 2023. That's March, okay, 2020. So that is just a whole lot of months there, as you can see. Okay, at the end of the day, there's like 7 months there, 8 months there. So this could also end up coming back down here, which we'd like to see it there again, but possibly after making some higher highs. Okay, so that's how it is. So on the pullbacks, we're interested in going up, okay, and so on. This was a good buy level in the previous weeks. I said it might dip slightly lower, but it didn't, because this is still not a discount zone. But like I said, looks like the way things are going, if we break above this, we've got room to go up. So once we do that, I'm going to just make sure I don't have these here anymore. Okay, and we'll just have the red targets there. Okay, so we could be going into the 2080s, as you can see. So any pullback on gold into an Astro hour, we're okay to start up as well, to go up. The only time we'll start to change our mind is when, if the market does decide to go down, the only time we can change our mind is if we start breaking below this low, below that low. So it needs to go down, basically it needs to go down below 1950s before we can say, well, maybe we're going to retrace down. Okay, so it's a bit of a move there we need to be careful about. Okay, so these levels could be adjustment levels if we're up here. Okay, so the market can push down a little bit, bring us all the way back down here before buyers come back in again. So if you do want to short it, you can from the highs, but just be mindful that that we do have a break up. Okay, breakout going upwards on the PST. Now SP 500 selling is the way to go on this one. Okay, that shouldn't be rocket science for us, because last week we were talking about it. Last week the market was closed. As you can see, on Thursday and Friday, it was just going sideways. Friday, I don't work on Fridays, guys, so there was no video on Friday. Also, the market was closed Thursday and Friday, so there was really not much for us to talk about. If I tighten this up a little bit, you'll see what I'm talking about. So this, again, we talked about Wednesday. If you went into Wednesday, you would have been okay. Now, what to do with this? If we go back up, we're on the weekly pivot now. Let me just refresh this. If we go back up, looking at the swing days, if we're up on the swing days, we want to be selling down. Now, be careful with the swing days, because it's a bit tricky. We've got Dow Jones and NASDAQ exactly on the same day. All right, and SP 500 on the days in between. So like, that's a bit tricky, okay? But it's all telling us what we really need to do. Now with SP 500 accordingly, if I just make this up a little bit here. Okay. On the weekly, you can see we're at the tops there. On the monthly, you can see we're at the tops there. So this zone is for us, kind of retracement, or at least we can sell down a little bit here, come back down before we think about going up. This line I haven't deleted. That was a good buy kiss. As you can see, it broke it down. It'll probably come back down to do a good buy kiss on this line. So we'll keep it there just for the hell of it. Okay, and that'll be that. And if the market sells, we should dip down here. I suspect we should go lower. Okay, and there are two levels to go down here. Maybe that one. If we take the wick there, and the second one is going to be this zone here. All right, so these levels are on the cards for us. We'd like to short it down, definitely. Okay, so if you have a retracement up into your Astro hours, I'm on the shorter side of things. This looks like a good distribution. So yeah, if we go back up, test the highs, previous week high day, sweep the stops on the equal highs, I'm okay to sell off at Astro hours. Euro dollar, let's take a look. This is the daily. Let's take a look at the weekly, since it's a new week. Well, that's done the targets there, as you can see. Now, if you take a look at the dollar franc as well, Dollar franc. Let's do this. This is dollar franc. Let me bring it to a daily chart. Why am I looking at the dollar franc as well while I'm doing that? Is because they go in reverse. Okay, so this is the dollar franc here, as you can see. All right. So this zone, maybe this has got a little bit more room to come down into here, into the wick here. Okay. Maybe it's got a little bit more room to come down, or as you can see, it's right on the turn here, and this red line here is HHL1 29.98 088228. So if we start breaking above the weekly pivot on the pullback, you can go long on this one, and there's room to go up, as you can see, this big drop down. Okay, there's a big drop, so the market will want to cover it up. Okay, so going up a little bit is not a bad idea. So buying the lows here is okay. So with the euro dollar, what you want to do is selling the highs is going to be okay. Now on the weekly, because we've already done that PST level and I have a higher level, as you can see. On the monthly though, that 53 is 1013, which we talked about last week. And if I just do this, just bear with me. Let's scale fix it. 1013. So 1013 is still on the cards. 1013 is going to be around here. Okay, that's still on the cards. The other thing is selling off the previous week's highs or slightly higher. This 77 is 1034. Okay, and on top of that, I've got here this zone, which is, I'm just going to do this. This is technical analysis part, so it's not a PST level, but I'm going to mark it in. I've got 1.09, 81, and that's 68. 1.09, 68 is there. Well, from 64 to 88 is there. Why? Because that's the inner body of that. It's 81. 81. All right, so there. So that's the inner body inclusion there from this zone onwards. So if we tap into there as well, selling at Astro hours is also okay. If you want to buy the euro dollar to go higher, it's doable. Do it at the support. It's a bit down there, which is 1.09. Okay, 1.09 is going to be there. Okay, so this is going to be a zone where the market can buy. On the weekly, this is going to be your LCL1 0837 on the weekly. Okay, if we start to go down, you got to keep your eye on this because that's going to be a target. 0837. All right, and if we shrink this a little bit, you can see where that's coming from. Okay, that's that. So if we go up, selling is also okay. Why you want to sell this if it goes up is because Monday on the euro dollar is a swing day, and we could find ourselves really going down nicely this week on this. So if it starts to break down, just keep following on the retracements up and just keep pushing it down into the next swing day. Let's take a look at Dow Jones, NASDAQ, Bitcoin. All right, so with the indices, we're sellers on the high on the swing days, and the euro dollar, same. With gold, it's a little tricky because we got the breakout, so the market can push to higher levels. So on any retracement on gold, we can go long at least until the swing days, and I've already put the swing days up there, so no big deal. Okay. You can check them out. It's in the members area. So let's take a look at Dow Jones, Bitcoin, and NASDAQ. All right, so let's do this. This is Dow Jones. Let's take a look at the weekly. Now here we are, nice and easy. Okay, this zone is still on the cards. Okay, so on Dow Jones, if we dip, well, it depends how much we dip down. Okay, so let's take a look on the daily. So this is a spot. So the market is still looking like we could be using this as a wick, I guess now, because this is a big wick and it's a pin bar. So I'm just going to take this zone here, which is the top of that wick, just the top zone there. Okay, and that's last manipulation bar. If I take the body with the wick, that's how it's going to pan out. Okay, so this zone and also slightly higher is still a sell zone. This was a good buy kiss, as you know, so this was a bit of a spot we were looking at. I can now get rid of this. This is no longer relevant for us. This is no longer relevant for us because we made that target happen. So last week, we ended up in this zone and stayed there. And I did say last week, it's a bit tricky on these indices. Maybe you want to wait for next week because the market was closed as well. So now what? Well, now the first support is the 72.57 on the daily, which is 35.302. And if I just do this, just bear with me. Let me just... Right, so this is where we're at. What's this? Dow Jones. Okay, so let me just refresh. Here we are, Dow Jones. Now, Dow Jones as well works nicely with financial astrology timing, actually. Let's do this. This zone also, just like with the SP 500, we want to be selling the highs. There is a possibility we could go higher, that's true, but we want to be selling low. Now, the minute the 72.57, which is 35.302, if it breaks down 35.302, which should be just there. Okay, so this is it, as you can see, right on the dot of the PST. This is why the PST is really, really important for us. As you can see, if we break below this, we'll probably get to the weekly pivot because you're targeting there. If it breaks down, here's that 67, 68 zone there, 35.176, 35.181. Let's do it. 35.181 is there. 176, 35.176 is here. All right, so we will have room to come down into the weekly, into there as well, and possibly even lower. If you take a look at the weekly, you might head down to that 53 zone, which is 34,610, and that's even lower there. On the daily, the lowest is 66.35. Let's put that 35.160 as well, right there, okay, because that's the last one. So if we dip into this zone, this is going to be a place where the market will want to buy again. So we'll want to get in there, okay, into a long position. Now, if we go up first, we're sellers, all right? So if in the US session, we find ourselves somewhere up there, for example, at 4:45 to 5 p.m. my time, okay, because we might have a sudden move into that 4:45, 5 p.m. And that might be kind of the way to go if it's up there, right? So if we end up somewhere high, then selling for us is going to be an option. Now on the weekly, if I take a look at the prices, the only thing I've got here is this LCL one, which is quite high. I'm not going to put that up there yet because that's 36,230. It's quite high. And on the daily, maybe we'll retest that, okay, or that. And that's 76, which is 35,373. 373 is there. And then we've got on the daily 493. Okay, so 35,493, which is a bit out there. Okay, that's a bit out there. All right, but in any case, if we find ourselves up here, selling is not a bad idea at Astro hours to push down into these levels. So if we're there, then this is going to be your first target, but it should break this, okay, and then flow further down into this zone. First, the weekly pivot. The weekly pivot, as you know, for us is important, and if it breaks below that, we should dip into there. Okay, so Dow Jones Monday is a swing day, so if we find ourselves up there, selling is an option. Nasdaq, same kind of thing, because swing day is Monday. We still have a bit of zone here, which is 68, 16,322. I want to put down the radar, 16,322. Come on. 16. Wow, this is just too big. 16,322. Let's scale fix this first. 16,322 should be somewhere around here. We'll keep it on the radar, okay? But in any case, if we go up, we want to sell. On the daily, we can sell on the good buy kiss 72. So if we come up first into 16,055, 16,055, which is here. Okay, so selling at the highs here is okay at an Astro hour. If you want to go up into that, what can I say? It's a bit tricky. Why? Because look, on the monthly, we've done that 63, right? So 16,066 and 156. So 16,066 is done, okay? And then I've got 156 up here, which is just shy of 150, 156. All right, which is there, which is just above that high done. Okay, but remember that's on the monthly. So if you want to buy the low to go up there, you got to cover the trade on the weekly opening in the daily, because this is a place where they might sell off. If I just refresh this, this is going to be your zone. Okay, however, be mindful, it might break above that, and the reason I say that is because we have a short-term liquidity here, as you can see from that trend line issue. So the market might just come here, sell off, or come here and break out to go up there, take out the stops, and then sell off. So in any case, if we're going up, we want to be selling off. Now today also, like I said, the Astro hours for today, like it's going to be 8:41 here, 8:45 let's say, which is 9:45 my time. So if we hang around here, going up from here, because this is an adjustment level. Okay, so this is a nice adjustment level. The market had a nice sharp fall, so we should go up. Okay, so nice adjustment to pull up into there. So you got to cover your trade at least around here. And if we keep going higher, okay, then we should find ourselves somewhere where the day should change, and we've got a full moon, so expect some action in the market. So from the highs as well, we want to be selling off. If we get up here, we want to be selling at these levels here as well. Okay, and like I said, if you want to go up into those levels, you can, but you have to be careful from the weekly to the daily. This is a tricky zone. This is where the market's sold off. And if you take a look at the weekly, like I said, that's that next zone there. So we could still do something like a double top and then start to fall off. So I'm in favor of selling in this zone here. Okay, maybe slightly higher here, 16,284. If I take that body, 16,412. That's a bit too high. Okay, that's a bit too high. We'll keep it at this. Anything above that, we'll have to reevaluate. okay, because it shouldn't go higher. If you take a look at the monthly as well on the NASDAQ, we're right on the edge. If it's going to turn, this is where it should turn from, and this should be like a sweep and then going in there. Did it go into that body there? Let's just double check. Hasn't gone into the body of that candle there, but it has sweeped on top of that. Okay, so anybody having a stop loss above there would have been swept out on the monthly, and you can see that's the level here. So if we go above the 16156, I would be surprised. Okay, then we'll have to reevaluate. Okay, so 16,066 is actually where the buck should stop. Yeah, this is where it should stop. 63.79 and 63.44. Yeah, that's basically it, guys. This is where the market, it shouldn't go any higher, but if it does, then don't stand in front of it. Okay, we'll have to wait for a reaction. Bitcoin, let's take a look with, well, this is again, like I said, it's the highs here. You don't want to be buying at the tops here. The only time you can buy, in my opinion anyway, is if the market comes down. All right, so this is it. And I said this could tap in like, 1, 2, 3 kind of thing. And this is just what it's doing, mucking around there. The next swing days I've got here, these are like main ones. Okay, so this is going to be main ones for us in December, as you can see. But the market is making highs, as you can see, and there's divergence here. So no buying here at the tops. You want to sell at the tops, you can. Today's resistance, the first one, is going to be 64, a price of 38,150. So if I do 38,150, is going to be, let's do this, 38,150, somewhere around there. Okay, that's on the daily. On the weekly, the first support is here, 74, which is going to be 36,936 to 37. So 36,950. Let's just say 36,950. Somewhere in between. 36,950, somewhere around there. Okay, so that's the support. That's the bounce off the weekly, as you can see. Whoops, there. All right, so that's that. So if we go up, you can sell from the highs. On the weekly, we don't have a resistance. On the monthly, this could go higher, okay, because we've got that level there. So standing in front of it is a bit tricky, as you can see. So what you might want to do is just sit and wait, let the market come back and then buy, or yeah, just sit and wait. Standing in front of it is not a really good idea if it really starts to break above this daily here. Okay, so if you break above the daily, you can go up into that 69, which is a target of 38,960. So let's call that 39 there. Okay, so if we break above that, market will probably head up into that 39 zone. So what do we want to do basically with Bitcoin? This is what you can do. If you want to trade it on the intraday, like, or daily, if you're a day trader, you want to be buying at 48, 36,460, 36, 460, around there. Okay, so buying at the lows is not a bad idea. On the daily, you got room to go there, and to that red line, HCL1, 35,930. All right, 35,930, which is there. So this is also a nice spot to get in to go long. All right. And like I said, if you break below that 74 level, which is that 39,936, then it's going to have probably room to go down. If I was intraday trading this, I'd like to be careful because it's a bit of a sandwich zone here. Maybe give it like a big push, and then if it goes up, you can retrace. Like I said last week as well, what you need to see is something which breaks this low. Then you can say, you know what, on the pullback, I'm going to sell it off. Other than that, this is just, it's a bit tricky, as you can see. What's happening here is this. All right. So selling the highs is also okay. And for a break, you need to break below this low here, 35,677. So you need to break that, close under it, then do an ABC up, and then sell it off. That's the option. If you're a buy and wait, if you like holding, if you want to buy and hold, then you got to wait until, like I said, spring.